welcome back to my channel. I've got a very busy day ahead of me, so let's go ahead and talk about my failed TBR. So for context, I just moved home from university, so I had to reorganize all of my books with the books I had at uni, and it was a mess. I got super excited making a list of books I wanted to read, but then I got hit by wanting to read a summer romance. And none of those really hit the mark. First book on the TBR and the most likely to fit my summer criteria is Raiders of the Lost Heart. However, it just isn't hitting summer in the way that I wanted to. This is basically Indiana Jones, but making it a romance book, and I was like, I feel like it'd be fun. The next book is Ruin and Rising. Now, I need to finish Shadow and Bone. I really liked the first book, and I liked the show. I hated the second book, and because of that, I've been really scared to pick this one up. But I want to read Six of Crows, and every time I pick it up and try and read it, I can't get into it because in my head I have this mental block of you've not read Road and Rising, you need to finish Shadow and Bone trilogy. So finally doing that. I also want to read The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This is the Magnus and Alex series. Gays in Paris and fantasy. What's more to like? The next book was Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I've heard so many good things about this and I feel like I will love it. It's fantasy vibes, but also a literary fiction, and it won the Women's Prize for Fiction Award in 2021. Then there's Hotel du Lac by Anita Bruckner. This is a literary fiction. It won the Booker Prize, and it's got a cute summary cover. It's set in France. I feel like it could be a fun vibe. Then we have Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher. This is basically Gwen and Arthur from Camelot, except Gwen's lesbian and Arthur is gay, so I feel like it'll be fun. And last but not least is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Now this TBR isn't terrible, it's just only 3 of them are giving summer to me. I'm not gonna lie, Ruin and Rising, it's giving more autumn, and Piranesi, it's giving autumn, winter, and I personally, I can't really read books when it doesn't feel like it's the right time of year to be reading them. And all of a sudden I've been really wanting to read a summery, holiday, beachy romance. So I was like, well, none of the books I have physically are giving that. So this is just an excuse to buy a book. So I bought Honeymoon by Kent Holland. This is the first in the Wanderlust trilogy. At this point, only this book and the next book are out. And I believe the third and final book comes out the 1st of August, which by the time this is posted will probably have passed. So far, I'm really enjoying this. It's basically workplace, haters to lovers, a travel writer, and a photographer at the magazine. And they are put together for this assignment, and the assignment is to go to various gay honeymoon destinations across the world. And they have to act like a couple. And the tension is electric. The tension is palpable. My phone running out of storage while I was in the middle of gushing about a book. How rude. Where was I? The tension. Yes. The tension is so palpable that I at one point I was sat on the sofa and I have 110 pages left of the book at this point, and they still hadn't even held hands. They went from hating each other to starting to like each other. They haven't even held hands. The tension palpable. I'm sitting on the sofa, my mum is sitting across from me, and it gets to a point where I literally start fanning myself with the book, and then I'm okay, I just know it. The next paragraph, the tension's gonna break, and things are gonna happen, and I cannot read that across from my mother. So I will close the book and I will walk on upstairs and pick it back up again. I hope to finish this tonight, and I even got the second book to take with me to London because I'm prepared. I am prepared. And the cool thing about this author's paperbacks is that 10% of all proceeds from the paperback sales go to the Human Rights Foundation. Anyway, let's get a move on because I got a lot to do today. It's been a few days since I got back from London and I had so much fun. Me and my friend hung out and we went to a few cafes, did some shopping, and we even went to the theatre. We went to see A Midsummer Night's Dream at the London Bridge Theatre, and it was so good, so different to what I was expecting. We had standing tickets, which were basically immersive, and so like the audience who was standing and the stage was all like on one level, and the stage would like move up and down and like around, and like the cast members were kind of like around as well. So it was like a really fun and immersive experience. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if you had a seated ticket like around the stage, it wouldn't have been as fun of an experience as being in the crowd. Like, don't get me wrong, performance was brilliant, and so like just seeing the performance itself, really cool. But I loved being part of the crowd and like turning around and like moving about and seeing different things. Like, it was just a really cool experience. Onto my charity shop haul. I got some DVDs. I got The Wizard of Oz and I got Little Women. I've been wanting to rewatch The Wizard of Oz for so long, like since like when Wicked Part 1 came out, but it's not been on any like streaming services, and so I've not been able to see it. And I've not seen Little Women yet. I want to read the book first. Basically, I'm trying to like build up my physical media collection because of streaming services. They're so like unreliable with what is on them, and like they take things off all the time. So I just want to own them myself. As for books, I got You and Me on Vacation. This, when I saw this, it was like insane because I was intending on buying this like this month anyway, because I want to read it before the film comes out in January. And I saw this immediately, was like, you're coming home with me. And then my friend showed me this cute little secondhand bookshop in the town that they live in at the moment. So I got a few books there. The first book I got was Last Caution by Eileen Chang. This is basically like a short story collection, I think. I've heard of this author before, and the cover really intrigued me. In April, I read a book called Cause for Alarm by Eric Ambler. It was published in, I think, 1938, and it's a spy thriller. And it was the first spy thriller that I've ever read, and I really liked it. And then I found two more of his books in this secondhand bookshop, so I grabbed them. I know I'm gonna have a fun time with them, so I thought, why not? In the last week, I've also finished Honeymoon and Up for Air by Kent Holland. These are described as romance novels, but I feel like they have more going on for them plot-wise than just the romance. So if you're looking for like a romance book that focuses more on the characters and like them as individuals as well as what they could be together and their aspirations, their career goals, then I highly recommend reading these books. As for the fate of the TBR at the start of the video, I think I have to abandon it, I'm not going to lie. Like, as I said, like half of the books in that TBR were not really giving summer, and then the ones that were giving summer I didn't want to read at the time of recording that. I did end up reading Ready Player One. I listened to this on audio, and I think it was the most palatable way for me personally to enjoy this book. I enjoyed bits and pieces of this book, but overall I think it was just okay. I rated it 3.5 stars. I just think for me, in a book, there were way too many like pop culture references and like a lot of references to things in the 80s, which I didn't really know all that much about. And the thing with pop culture references, in my opinion, in books, it takes away from the overall reading experience when you don't understand all of the references. In terms of what I'm going to read next, I'm not entirely sure, because I started You and Me on Vacation, I read the prologue, and all of a sudden I don't want to read a romance book. After reading two back to back, I'm kind of romanced out. This is the thing of being a mood reader. I was so passionately in the mood for a romance book, and then I read two back to back, and immediately like, oh, what's going on? So I don't want to not read this because, like I said, like I want to read this before the film comes out. So I think I'm going to soft DNF it, so maybe I'll come back to it in a few weeks. Like I definitely want to finish it this summer. Yeah, so jury's still out on what I'm reading next. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on Instagram at Books of Tom. I'm more active there. And have a good day.